and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to your Hometown Health Show, brought to you by Trilogy Home Healthcare, the industry leader with over 30 years of experience in providing home healthcare services such as skilled nursing, physical and occupational therapy, home health aides, and other specialized care to your homes throughout the state. Please tune in every other week as we bring you a range of good information from specialists in the field to help make you more informed and living healthy.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our show. You're listening and watching your Hometown Health Show, Trilogy Home Health with Trilogy Home Healthcare. I'm Yolanda Santana, IT consultant for All Bits Tech. And tonight we have Ileana Ferreira and Cindy Marchetti of Trilogy Home Health, as well as Dr. Juan Sardina of Podiatry. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So, Cindy, would you please tell us a little bit about Trilogy?
Sure. So Trilogy Home Health Care is a Medicare home health agency. We provide services to Medicare patients here in Palm Beach County as well as throughout the state of Florida. All of our services are covered 100% by Medicare, and that can range anywhere from physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, for example. We have med management that we can offer, as well as anything from wound care, IV, many different therapies that we offer here in the county as well as throughout the state.
That's great. And would you please tell us and everyone listening out there and watching how you work with different doctors, especially Dr. Juan Sardina?
So Dr. Sardina and his practice associates, we can offer many different things for their patients, such as wound care, for example, patients that have had surgeries either on, different joints or knees, ankles, different things, gait and balance training, for example. There's many different modalities that we offer, whether it be anodyne therapy, for example. There's all different types of things. Even a home health aide, for example, to help with, bathing once or twice a week, depending on the situation. So there's all different things, unless there's something else in particular that you can think of that I've missed. But
Non-physical therapy as well, like helping them, recover and, get back on their feet after surgery.
Exactly. Help them to become as independent as possible. But, we want to offer the assistance that they need to get them back to that point after the surgery.
Yeah, and it's my understanding that you work really well with knowing and having the patient records, and with the doctor, and being able to communicate back and forth with doctors.
Absolutely.
So you can provide the best care.
I think one of the biggest things that we notice is, the patients have the ability to refer to us specifically or to request us from their physician or from the hospital. If they're in a rehab facility, for example, they can let them know, listen, I would like to use Trilogy Home Health for our services, upon discharge, and then we'd like to come in and follow up, and our reps that are in those facilities or in those hospitals that can then, help us to communicate with the physician to get the services that they're needing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's great. So, again, we're here to announce our special guest, Dr. Juan Sardina, and Orthopedic Center of Palm Beach County, to listeners, and to discuss your specialty in podiatry, specifically with regard to foot and ankle care, orthopedic care, and pain management. Welcome again.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
So, could you please tell our listeners about yourself and about your practice and how long you've been practicing in the area?
So the Orthopedic Center has been around for about 65 years. I've been in practice with them for about 3 years, and myself out of residency in practice for about 8 years. Did my residency training at JFK Medical Center, and then stay in the area. I grew up here in Palm Beach County, went to FAU for undergrad, so I've been around here all my life.
Local. All right. So walk us, if you will, through the types of patients you see and the varying degrees of diagnosis you treat.
So I see a big variety of patients, patients with trauma, ankle fractures, foot fractures. I see a lot of patients with sports medicine injury, ankle sprains, tendonitis, Achilles tendonitis, and ruptures. I also spend time 1 day a week at the wound center, which is how I kind of work with Trilogy, back and forth, coordinating care of the patients, and do also hospital work. So, I see a big variety of pathology.
Okay. Okay. And I realize here I don't have your information, your contact information. How could someone get a hold of you if they wanted to see you?
So our website is orthopedic center of Palm Beach County.com. Our phone number is 561-967-6500. 561-967-6500.
Give me that website one more time.
Is ocpbc.com. We have 3 offices, one in Boynton Beach, Wellington, and Atlantis, Lake Worth area.
Okay. All right, so getting back into the nitty-gritty, what's the most common diagnosis you treat, and who is the typical candidate in need of wound care that you see in your practice?
So most of the wound care that we see are, diabetic patients as well as patients with venous insufficiency. Those are the most common, patients that will develop wounds. One of the most common diagnoses we also see is heel pain, plantar fasciitis.
Okay. And so heel pain, how do you treat plantar fasciitis?
So plantar fasciitis, normally we start with some type of therapy and stretching, icing, resting, kind of removing whatever's aggravating, and causing the pain. Sometimes we do injections, different type of injections, like steroid injections, PRP injections. There's also shockwave therapy, which we provide in our office to help patients. But mainly physical therapy helps them initially.
Okay. So what about diabetic foot health, and how important is it to someone with diabetes to see a podiatrist?
It's very important, Medicare mandates that they go see a podiatrist at least once a year, to get educated about, diabetic care and foot care, as well as preventing, amputations and ulcers, in today's society. We have a big growing, demographics of diabetics that, will need more care in the future and will develop some complications.
Yeah, I would imagine that's imperative that they see a podiatrist as soon as possible. What's the age that you would recommend someone, if you're diabetic, obviously right away, but what if you're not a diabetic? How important is it to see a podiatrist?
If you're not a diabetic, it's not mandatory to to see a podiatrist, because you won't have any other problems that diabetic do encompass. They're more prone to infections, developing wounds, which can, have circulation problems, kidney problems that will lead to amputations on the road and even death.
Just to chime in quickly for Trilogy, as far as we're concerned, when it comes to diabetic patients, there's a few other services that we can also provide, such as, a dietitian, for example, which can help them as long as their medication management, like I had previously mentioned, it's definitely a good service that we can provide. So, another way we work well with the podiatrist or other specialists, for example, just to kind of help overall to treat the patient when we have them on service, not just for wound care, for example, or physical therapy. We like to offer the extras, that we have available to them as well.
That's great, yeah.
So,
And it's important. Especially if you have diabetes. My grandmother had diabetes, and she passed away from a wound, and it was by her foot. So I would think that if she had seeked, or if her aide had seen it and gotten to it with time, she probably would have survived, even though she was
right.
well into her 90s. So
Wow.
Yeah, the problem with diabetics, sometimes they lose sensation on their feet, so something that might hurt you and I, will tell us there's something wrong with the feet, have it checked out. They don't have any feelings. They can have a burn, they can have a needle stuck in their foot, and they don't know anything is there because they don't feel it.
My father, who's a diabetic, had a huge wound on the bottom of his foot, had no idea for like weeks before we even knew about it. Just by chance we happened to see it, but yeah, they don't have the sensation that you would think, or like you could be walking and it's like pins and needles and they don't necessarily feel it.
And then by that time, infection sets in.
Right.
They don't see anybody. You go to the hospital, and then that's why there's a lot of amputations with diabetic nowadays.
Yeah. Scary.
before I go on, I have a question. Is there a common tumor that people of a certain age get in their feet?
Tumors in the feet are rare. We get more probably benign tumors. Some are like a plantar fibroma that develops in the arch of the feet. There are other skin tissues, and melanomas can develop in the feet, even though you don't get sun exposed, as most people think. You'll get melanoma in a sun exposed area. But you can see all types of tumor as well as bone tumors, but especially more soft tissue tumors.
And would you typically deal with that, or would you end up sending them to an oncologist?
It depends. If it's a soft tissue or benign tumor, I tend to manage it myself, do biopsies, manage, excisions of the lesions. If it tends to be like a malignant bone tumor, I rather refer it to an oncologist that specializes in that.
Okay. What would you say sets you apart from other podiatrists?
I think my training sets me apart. I also train over at the Paley Institute in West Palm Beach, which they did a lot of deformity corrections. The residency training that I did, they were very, heavily, involved with trauma and, reconstruction of the foot and ankle. So I think that sets me apart from other podiatrists.
Okay. And what type of the latest advanced modalities or technology and services do you provide?
So our group provides, PRP injections, or plasma-rich platelet injections, amniotic injections, which are stem cells. Also for wound care, we can provide stem cells, to help the wounds heal. We have physical therapists in all our locations, as well as a surgical center, so it's a full standing and running orthopedic center.
Okay.
We also provide all types of specialty, from spine, hand, pain management, sports medicine, total knees and joints. So everybody's very specialized in this group.
Okay. So as far as what you do, I know that certain podiatrists, they treat just the feet where it goes up to the knee. What do you do? Is there a limit?
So basically, we kind of stay for bone tissues below the knee. We don't, get involved in the knee. So, distal, ankle, and, foot area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So can you paint a picture for our listeners as to the various services you offer and what they are and the benefit of each?
So some of the, benefits we offer are conservative treatments of foot and ankle pathology. We see a lot of, ankle sprains, tendonitis, sports injury. Today's society, everybody's more conscious, about staying healthy and, exercising. And, as we age, the body doesn't recover as well, and we tend to see a lot of, sports medicine, trauma as well.
Okay. All right. So, again, thank you for coming to our show tonight. You're listening to your Hometown Health Show, and I'm Yolanda Santana, and this is sponsored by Trilogy Home Health. And if you're wondering, you can listen on 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. We're also on Facebook Live. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming, as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages, or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies, including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP, the number 2.tv. or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422.
Welcome again. You are listening to your Hometown Health Show, sponsored by Trilogy Home Health. Hello, I'm Yolanda Santana with All Bits Tech, and again we have as our special guest tonight Dr. Juan Sardina, Podiatry with Orthopedic Center of Palm Beach County. We also have Eliana Ferreira of Trilogy Home Health and Cindy Marchetti, Director of Marketing, Palm Beach.
Hi.
Welcome again. If you wanted to call in, you can call 1-888-565-1470. Again, that's 1-888-565-1470. We were talking about modalities and technology in the field of podiatry. Did you want to touch up on anything else?
So our office, they do provide acupuncture from the pain management area. We do some kyphoplasties, which are minimally complicated in the office as well, which is a quick recovery for the patients. Bypass, going to a surgical center or the hospital. And then with sports medicine, platelet-rich plasma injections as well as amniotic injections as well.
Okay, all right. And was there any modality that kind of sparked your interest that you wanted to get into, maybe not really FDA approved yet or anything like that?
Most of the ones we use are not, sometimes like PRP and amniotic injections are not covered by insurance, but some patients do see benefits and they can bypass surgery sometimes. So, and with wounds, they are covered by insurance companies, mainly Medicare, and it does help the wounds heal. It makes a big impact on how quick the wounds heal, and sometimes a wound takes about 3 months to heal, and this can be cut short by using some type of graft or amniotic graft as well.
Okay. I'm going to flip it around and ask you, what got you into medicine, and specifically podiatry?
So, when I was growing up, I always liked medicine. My parents were engineering, so I never really did anything with medicine before. I went to FAU. They had a class there that had different types of specialty come in. They had a podiatrist, so it caught my interest. They did surgery, office work, hospital work. So your whole day varies. Even throughout the whole day, you're not in one place, sitting down, seeing patients or in a clinic the whole day. So that caught my interest.
Okay. It's good.
Very cool.
Yeah. I want to know, what is, and I'm sure a lot of people listening and watching want to know, what is the shoe that you would recommend or not recommend?
It depends.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for this one.
and not name brands. We don't want to.
Correct. So it depends. If you're a runner, you want to get a good running shoe from a good brand. Even though there are new brands out there that are offering very good running shoes, you should change your shoes every 600 miles or 6 months. Depending on how much running you're doing. If you're, an older person that, wants to exercise and walk, a walking shoe tends to be a lot different from a running shoe. A running shoe is more flexible, can cause more damage to an older person with osteoporosis. So a walking shoe, if you're just going to be walking, is a better recommendation as well.
Okay. And what if you're standing all day? Say you're not moving into too many areas, but you're mostly standing all day. What would you recommend, like an insert or something?
In that case, a good, sneaker or comfortable shoe that has a little bit of cushion, and then an insert that will go into your arch and inside the shoe and will give you arch support and, align the joints, on the spine well, which will prevent some, pains in other areas of the body as well.
All right. And then so what would you say you tell people to avoid wearing?
If you're going to be walking or standing, high heels kind of shift all the way to the front of the foot, can cause a lot of pain and damage to some of the ligaments, as well as bunions.
I mean, hey, I've had bunion surgery when I was like 22, so genetic.
Correct. That's more genetics, but
Yeah.
shoe can aggravate some pathologies.
Yes.
The ingrowns are another one, I'm sure.
Yeah, we do see a lot of ingrown nails. Sometimes they're very infected by the time they come in. With diabetics, you have to be very careful because an ingrown can lead to an amputation, which is different from a normal patient.
Okay. What about fungus? I mean, us ladies, we end up going to get, our pedicures all the time, and you see sometimes people get fungus in their nails. What would you recommend?
So normally I would recommend starting with like topical medication. As soon as you see it, start aggressively treating it. As we age, it's harder to get rid of that fungus, and then there are oral medications that you can take as well. But normally we have to do some lab work and check, make sure everything is well.
Can that be deadly?
The fungus?
Mhm.
No, it's not a
Okay.
deadly. It won't cause any, pain, but it's more cosmetic, especially in South Florida where women wear a lot of open shoes.
Right.
Yes. Hence more pedicures.
Right.
All
It's a
right.
necessity.
Yeah, for sure. So as long as I've been, doing this show, I think that Trilogy Home Health works very holistically and almost like a symbiotic relationship with the doctors. Would you say that's the case?
Yes, we work, hand in hand, coordinating care, providing physical therapy and assistance to the patient. And the work they do is very important because, the doctor can get an order, but if it's not done properly, it could do more, damage than benefit.
Okay. So just to get a better idea, so someone who doesn't know Trilogy or doesn't know anything about your practice, if you could describe a scenario of a patient you have that you've received or seen or that you're recommending to Trilogy, how does that work out?
So normally we see the patient. If the patient needs, advanced care or skilled nurse, we coordinate it, send all the demographics with the patient's approval, to Trilogy, and then from there Trilogy takes over, sends a nurse, to assess the patient, and takes over the care and continue to see the doctor as well.
Okay. Again, how can someone get in touch with you?
So they can get in touch with me by, calling our office, which is 561-967-6500, Orthopedic Center of Palm Beach County.
Perfect. And how did they get an appointment? Do they need a referral?
It depends on the insurance plan, if they need a referral or not. Most of the plans don't need a referral, but they will let you know at the time that you call for the appointment.
Can they walk in?
Normally, we take rare cases of walk-ins, but same day or the next day, we do, try to accommodate the patients. We're a big group, so we can accommodate in different offices and location, and different doctors as well.
How many physicians in your group again?
There are 15 total doctors.
15. That's a good amount. All podiatrists?
No, there are different orthopedic, spine surgeons, hand surgeons. We have sports medicine, total joints, pain management doctors.
Okay, that's great. So someone could go in there and then see if podiatry doesn't work out, they can see someone else in that same practice. And
Correct.
that's great.
And the practice has been around for 65 years, so it's very well known in the community, and some of the doctors have been around for many years.
Just
Wonderful.
to chime in quickly, when he's seeing the patients, I think one of the biggest things that Trilogy Home Health Care would like to kind of identify, I guess, if you will, is a homebound patient. And, in order for us to be able to see that patient, the patient does have to be deemed as homebound. Now, that can be something as simple, as a patient that may walk with a walker, or a cane, some type of assistive device, for example. Homebound doesn't necessarily mean, or doesn't always mean, bedbound, which I think is, a common thing that some patients may, believe. Just because a patient is homebound doesn't mean they can't go to the salon during the week to get their hair done or their nails done, maybe meet their family for lunch or something like that. Those patients don't necessarily, classify as not homebound just because they are able to do those things. But typically speaking, a homebound patient would be someone that requires some type of assistance, or it's a taxing effort for them to leave the house, whether that be to go to the doctor's appointments, or, they may live in an assisted living facility, for example. They may not only live in their home, or with a family member, for example. They can come from all different places and live in all different types of communities. I think that's a common, working with these doctors' offices or different physicians, there's a common misconception that, a patient has to be bedbound specifically, and that's not technically the case. So it's just, a matter of educating, I think, a lot of times, to let these patients know that you would qualify for services, and it's additional support in the home for them that allows them, a nurse or a therapist, or, some type of extra assistance to them that they don't always know about or are aware of. And, that's something that we like to pride ourselves on, and we're happy to educate or help with, whatever services, maybe even outside of our office, that we can help them with, whenever necessary.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that clarification. It's
Sure.
good to know. Also, that Trilogy is Medicare only.
We are Medicare only, yes. Medicare, like I said, throughout the state of Florida, both here in Palm Beach County, Broward, all the way up through Vero Beach, the West Coast up to Jacksonville. So yeah, we have 10 office locations that we service patients from. And here in Palm Beach, the best contact would be our office, which is 561-865-1111.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on your Hometown Health Show, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
you.
Trilogy Home Healthcare invites you to call our offices before making a decision about your home health and rehabilitative care. Different from other agencies, Trilogy offers specialized service that other agencies don't, providing exceptional care. That's who we are and what we do. Call us at 866-599-4959 or go to trilogyhomehealthcare.com.
Those are the hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those